Welcome to another episode of Uncensored Daily Radar, where your fellow foiled friend scans the entire globe for what may or may not be artificial and nefarious activity. We go through satellite radar as well as the zippity zip zap radar, aka NEXRAD, to better understand atmospheric and environmental conditions in full context. Before we get started, there are a few things that you should know. Number one, I am not, I repeat, I am not a meteorologist, but I am a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, which obviously makes me far more qualified to analyze atmospheric conditions. Number two, videos are fairly short, but feel free to skip ahead to any section you're most interested in. And lastly, if you'd like to see these daily radar videos, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Otherwise, this video is about to reach a paywall, and we'll pause right now. Now. Okay. All right, let's get started. Good evening. It is July 6th, about 11:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has been one of the craziest weather weeks that I have witnessed in a long time. And my gosh, guys, I spent all night and half of yesterday editing the video talking about Save Our Allies, and excited to interview with Tim Kennedy. But then I had to get back to my video talking about the unusual circumstances surrounding the storm corralling for a day over Texas. Very similar storm to what we saw in North Carolina, the Carolinas. Anyway, I need to catch up on sleep. And I'm sorry I have to do this again. I have to do a very short episode, but tomorrow we're going to get back to normal. But I need to get some sleep. I need to get some sleep, and I apologize. But I do want to get this on record. Okay, so every single glow you see here is a NEXRAD radar station. The official statement is that they are just there to, track storms, give us qualities about storms. It's just Doppler radar. The conspiracy theory is that they are capable of far more than that they can actually manipulate the weather, steer the weather, increase the weather, cause heat, create high pressure zones, things like that. We're not going to go into super detail. If you want to learn more, go back a couple of episodes. The last episode, I also said I didn't really have any time because I was editing, because these things are sometimes timely, like we needed to raise money for rescue missions. Now they've transitioned to recovery missions, trying to find the missing under the rubble. It's very tragic. Okay, just from this, we got the tropical depression over here going over North Carolina, Virginia. That's not something you see every day, which is interesting because you know how we've been seeing some very unusual NEXRAD activity coming out of this area, zip-zapping into the Atlantic. Yeah, I'm still wondering what's going on over here. Texas is still acting strangely. I mean, these towers are specifically glowing during the day. At night, we normally see where they're focusing because they'll get more sensitive. They'll start emitting more, but they're not always emitting in the same spots. So lately it's been right here. But during the daytime, these put out very high energy. The kind of energy we used to see about a month ago when we saw it nonstop and everyone was not feeling very good. This is unusual. This is strange. It's like a block. Go watch the video that I made explaining why I think the storm stayed still. It's posted on Substack. It's posted on my Instagram. It's posted on my X. Go check it out. All right, let's go section by section. Again, this is going to be super short. I'm not going to cover the globe for trails today, just continental U.S. I might scoot down into Mexico and South America. And probably Europe. I think I have some subscribers over in Europe. Okay, yeah, this storm is getting zip-zapped like crazy. Expect some severe storms to come out of this whenever we see this kind of behavior. Usually you're going to see some tornadoes or pretty crazy hail or wind. They say those rippled radar, those ripples are just glitches, reflections off of birds and insects, but no. We've been seeing some very severe storms coming from things like that. We're still seeing this flame-like radar coming off of these towers. California's been lit more than it used to. So I would say this is unusual, that there's something going on here. And fires are usually what comes out of that kind of situation. All right, let's check this out. Yeah, I'm really watching this area closely because we had some very red radar coming out of here, beaming into the Atlantic. It was definitely strange. We're seeing this flame-like stuff coming out of here now. I'm telling you, this area, something weird. And then, of course, you've got... Oh, by the way, I'm looking at the middle of the country last because it has the most interesting stuff. You got the tropical depression that they have flash flood warnings in these areas. And after Texas, boy, oh boy, I think people are taking those a little bit more seriously. I really want to check this thing out. You know what's funny? This is a tropical depression. And I'm actually not seeing any of that rippled radar. I'm not seeing any of those crazy zip zaps coming around the storm. I did see some rippled radar over here, but no, these storms going across the middle of the U.S. Ah, look at that. Remember what I said about about high pressure zones? If you guys already watched my video, notice when these start emitting more energy, the storm starts to move back towards the Atlantic. It's like going in that direction and then whoop, starts to turn a little bit. Oh, that's weird. That looks super funky. And that's kind of stationary. And then look at that, how it broke apart. Yeah, that's weird. Something weird happened in there. And then that tower went out, so this data disappeared. Oh, you got the waves again. Look at that. And then why does that always happen? Oh, man, guys, it's so hard doing short shows and like forcing myself to go to sleep, like the last show and this show. Okay, so check this out. So you see all this precipitation coming out, and then look at the pulse. So the towers are theoretically forcing moisture out of the air. And the pulse itself, I think, is pushing the rain. And this is a theory, of course. It could just be the time of day, but this is not sunset. Because you could say this is, just a wave coming off of the temperature difference coming off of the ocean around sunset or sunrise, but this is not sunset or sunrise. See here, here, and here. And then there. And then all of these start glowing like crazy. And Texas. So these towers are still glowing around the edges. Any precipitation that's being developed here doesn't really have a chance to leave. Look at that, it's going to collapse in on itself. And then we've got... You know what I don't know why I'm just thinking of this. You know how we've been seeing those tower radial pulses here? That's where the flooding happened. Look at this. This is not normal. And this happened before that storm. And then, yeah, I do not like the way Texas looks right now. And then look at that. You got a tower and tower. I'm pretty sure those are 5G towers. Artificial intelligence is having a really hard time helping me find the source of those. I need to find a different way. Huh. I don't like the way Texas looks. I'm not sure they're done with Texas yet. I mean, this is very strange. Look at that. You guys have been watching long enough. Nothing good coming from that. And I have so many new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining and supporting me. And I'm just having so much fun doing this. You caught me at a bad time, though, because I really need to go to sleep. So this is a painfully short show. And yes, guys, be weary of these storms heading through the middle. You know, if these towers are actually producing high heat microwave radiation, then the storms that are passing through the area tonight, this area, they should go away. So as those are glowing, these should get lighter. But then again, sometimes they can get more intense. It depends on what they're actually doing. We can't really tell what they're emitting. We can't, they can emit microwave radiation, which is, making heat, which they have been doing a lot lately. You can see it. But sometimes when you see that, it can result in even more severe rain and wind and tornadic activity. And normally we do the trails for the whole world, but we do not have time. And as I've said, the United States has not been showing nearly the trails that it used to. It used to look like this all over the country. These all over, never taking a break. But then we struck Iran, and around that time, this used to be the United States. Canada's still going like normal. See? And they still got a ton of trails out here. And remember, I was saying, look out for a tropical storm, something up here. And then lo and behold, we have it. They've been trailing out here like crazy. All of these are trails. When I say trails, I can mean contrails or chemtrails. I normally get specific. I don't have time for this tonight, but you can look at altitude. Black is highest, purple is lowest. Pink is on here, but that's like a different category. That's just dust. But look a couple shows ago, and I explained further how to tell. These are defined, they're spreading, and they're dropping in altitude and colliding with the remnants of other trails into new clouds. It's hazing out, and it's funding the system here. And actually, I think, I see trails around the outskirts of this storm. Which is interesting because no commercial airline would fly near this storm. So that's got to be, they can't be commercial aircraft. Interesting. That would have to be military. And Florida, okay, so I'll go into this more in tomorrow's show when I can actually take more time to do this, but I don't know if they stopped trailing or if they completely changed the ingredients. We see trails, but I think they're hazing out. I see some mixed in here too, but they're disappearing so quickly into this haze. And I know they're not contrails because contrails don't create a haze. It literally just disappears. It looks exactly how it did before they were even laid. But these, they create a haze, smoky haze. And they fan out. I remember I've been saying this for months. I'm like, I think they changed the ingredient, and we saw them kind of doing the smoky stuff in some areas, but now I think they're doing it everywhere. And I think that's why the federal government might actually pretend to ban geoengineering. I don't say that lightly. I just think it's odd that if you've been following the show for the last couple of weeks, there haven't been trails. And for the last couple of months, I've been saying something strange is happening with the trails. We got the blue rain, right? And I was thinking at the time when we saw that in Texas and California that they were possibly injecting the trails with something to hide them, to disguise them. What if they're putting blue in the trails so that when they first come out, you don't see them as well? And then by the time, the blue isn't going to contain it anymore, it's already turned into a haze. Maybe they're disguising it really, really well. Because people on the ground keep telling me that they see trails, but that they're hazing very quickly. So I don't know. I don't know how that plays into any of this. I am seeing trails, more than I have the last couple of days. They're all in here. They're all in here. I'm sure they're in here, but you can't really see clearly because the wind is so powerful. And people in Texas were saying that they were trailing a ton in the days leading up, but they were covered in this. I could not see the trails causing them at the time. I do see trails on the outskirts of this storm, and obviously we have an enormous amount of trails out here. Okay, Ariana, this is not a normal show. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Oh, great. It's already the next day. It's already July 7th. Wonderful. I can't help it, you guys. I just love it so much. Okay. Nothing down in South America as usual, and I'm not seeing anything over Mexico as per usual. I do think it's all so weird how the wind is just going in the opposite direction that it normally does. The wind is normally going from west to east, and here we go, east to west. East to west. This is blowing my mind. I don't know when this is going to stop. I do think this might have something to do with the high pressure zones, and I do think that they have systems out in the ocean as well. Towers, generators of some sort out there as well, because you wouldn't be able to just control the weather over continental U.S. If you only had towers over continental U.S., you would need them in the ocean too, off the coast, which would explain why the Navy has the greatest budget for geoengineering over the Air Force. All right, might as well check out Africa since I'm going up to Europe. Africa never, ever, ever had any trails of any kind until last week. I started seeing them popping up over here, and then they're blowing over. These could very well be contrails. The only reason why I question them is because they're pretty darn defined. And it does sort of look like a little bit of a smoky haze coming out the end. Not nearly as obvious as the ones in America, but I don't know. I'm keeping an eye over here. It's been consistently here nonstop, which makes me think it's probably just some kind of a humidity situation, and it'll pass. But Africa normally is totally clear. Okay, so there's trails mixed in here. Europe has a different kind of brand of trail. It smokes out. It's lower altitude. They are harder to see. They're actually comparing more to the United States, the new United States trails, but there are definitely trails in here. I see the remnants. You guys are under a heat wave now too. Yeah, they're much harder to see, but I definitely know they're over here. And they're probably over here too, but I can't see them right now, so I can't say that for sure. All right, Australia, you guys have said that you've been seeing a lot of trails lately. And I'm asking you guys where. Okay, I do see some over here. Yeah, I definitely see them over here. They're mixed in here. There's a lot of them mixed into this red here, and then they're hazing out and coming over. Over here. This area is getting some. I see them mixed in here. I see them mixed in here. Australia, I don't normally see trails in Australia. And since I'm already on this page, I might as well scooch on up. I'm not really seeing anything over China. I do see some over Russia again today. I do see some over here off the coast of South Korea. And I do see them in the Pacific as per usual. Though not nearly as many. Okay, guys, I'm going to sleep. I have to force myself to do it. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. It'll be a better show.